Make it real. Manifest your dreams in the 3D, written by Ronnie Rowland. Published by Growth Literacy Lounge. The most dangerous place your dream can live is in your head. That's where it becomes a masterpiece of delay, a perfect vision rehearsed but never revealed. We polish it with what-ifs. We shelter it from imperfection. We tell ourselves we're manifesting, when in truth, we're procrastinating with prettier words. This book is not about wishful thinking. It's not about vision boards or magical phrases whispered into the void. It's about the sacred, sometimes messy, often uncomfortable art of turning desire into detail, imagination into implementation. It's about building what you see, not just believing in it. Most people don't fail to dream, they fail to build. Not because they're lazy, but because they misunderstand the mechanics of manifestation. They think alignment is a feeling. They think energy is enough. But the dream won't walk itself into your life. It's waiting for your participation. There is power in moving your body in the direction of your blueprint, power in treating your ideas not as fantasies, but as assignments, as structures waiting to be built in time and space, one brick, one breath, one bold move at a time. As Les Brown once said, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. This isn't about chasing, it's about becoming. Not becoming someone different, but someone honest, someone who finally aligns their external reality with their internal knowing. You won't find fluff here. No grand promises without a grounded process. What you will find is a path, a deeply practical, soul-rooted framework for manifesting in the 3D world. Not by accident, not by force, but by design. Each chapter is a step. Each step is a shift. Not just in thought, but in behavior, embodiment, and result. This isn't self-help. It's self-construction. The blueprint is within you. This is your invitation to build it into form. It's time to stop hoping for your dream to arrive and start creating the reality where it belongs. Make it real. Chapter 1. The blueprint is within. A block of marble holds a secret. To the untrained eye, it's a cold, unshaped mass. But to the sculptor, it is the beginning of something sacred. Michelangelo once said he saw the angel in the marble and carved until he set it free. Your dreams are no different. What looks like a vague yearning or a fleeting hope is, in truth, a structure waiting to be carved into existence. Within your desire is a blueprint, and within you is the builder. Too many dismiss their dreams as indulgence. They say, that's not realistic, or maybe one day. But dreams are not wishful distractions. They are instructions whispered by the unseen. Every idea you've had that lingers, that excites, that stirs something in your chest, that's not a coincidence. It's a signal. You are being handed a vision of what could be, because you are capable of bringing it into form. The tension lies in how easily we abandon the dream before it even begins. Because it isn't yet visible, we treat it as invalid. But every building you've ever entered started as a sketch. Every symphony began in silence. Nothing real was real until someone made it so. Your longing is not a lie. It is an echo of a future that wants to exist. The unseen realm is not separate from the physical. It is its origin. Just as the blueprint precedes the building, your internal vision precedes its outer expression. You don't need to wait for a sign. The dream itself is the sign. The fact that it exists in your consciousness means it's part of what's possible here, on this plane, in this life. Begin here, name the dream. Write it down, not as a question, but as a declaration. Instead of "Can I start a business?" write "I am building a business that frees me and serves others." Instead of "I want love," write "I am creating space in my life for love to arrive." These are not affirmations. They are architectural drawings. They move your vision from vapor to blueprint. Now take a small, irreversible action, not a grand leap, but a movement that can't be undone. Open the document. Register the domain. Apply for the license. Put your physical body into alignment with your internal design. The smallest real-world gesture carries more power than 1,000 perfect intentions. The universe meets you at the level of embodiment, not fantasy. The shift you seek starts not in thunder but in touch, in fingers meeting keys, in voice speaking truth, in hands shaping matter. This is the moment you cross from imagination to incarnation. You are not waiting for permission. You are stepping into authorship, The dream didn't choose you to tease you. It chose you because you're the one who can make it real. What begins as invisible can become undeniable. The first prototype. The first yes. The first time someone says, "You made this?" That's when the marble cracks, and the shape begins to show. You realize you were never chasing a fantasy. You were delivering a promise. The blueprint was within you all along. Now you're carving. What comes next is momentum. Action repeated, belief embodied. But it starts here, at the threshold between vision and visibility. You have something sacred inside you, not a wish. A structure, not a maybe. A message, not someday. Now, the marble is waiting. Dreams are not fantasies, they are instructions awaiting form. Vision becomes real when it is treated as a blueprint, not a maybe. Small physical acts are sacred thresholds between thought and reality. Where have you mistaken a dream for a distraction instead of a design? Choose one dream. Write it as a declaration. Take a physical step toward it today. Chapter 2. Energy is the invitation. A radio doesn't create music. It tunes in. Across the air, sound waves are always traveling, carrying songs, voices, signals. The only way to hear them is to match their frequency. Energy works the same way. What you call a coincidence, the universe calls a match. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are tuned to. This is where most dreamers stall. They believe thinking about a goal is enough. They visualize, they hope, they even script. But if their dominant energy is frustration, doubt, or desperation, then they're playing one station and asking to hear another. The universe isn't confused. It responds not to requests, but to resonance. There's an invisible architecture beneath your life. It's not just thought, it's vibration. The way you feel, consistently, not occasionally, is the signal you emit. This isn't mysticism, it's physics. Every emotion has a measurable frequency. Joy, love, gratitude, they're high signals. Fear, shame, anger, low ones. Like a tuning fork, your state either aligns or clashes with what you're asking for. This doesn't mean you must be positive all the time. It means you must be honest about your signal. You can't fake frequency. You can't bypass pain and expect peace. You must clear the interference. That means acknowledging the static, the self-doubt, the guilt, the belief that you're unworthy of the dream you carry. It's not about perfection. It's about calibration. The most powerful shifts begin subtly. Change the way you wake up. Before reaching for your phone, reach for a feeling. Can you choose a better emotional baseline before the day chooses it for you? Before making a decision, check your state. Are you operating from fear or freedom? Before taking a step, ask what signal you're sending. Energy leads. Outcomes follow. If you want love, live in the frequency of love, not the ache of its absence. If you want success, operate in the energy of expansion, not scarcity. This isn't acting. It's alignment. Embody the vibration of what you desire, and you become an energetic match for it. There's a reason some people seem lucky. They don't chase, they align. Their inner world rehearses the outcome before it appears. They become the version of themselves that would naturally receive what they desire. Not through force, but frequency. Not through pressure, but presence. To shift your energy, don't wait for your environment to change. Shift your relationship with the present moment. Gratitude isn't just appreciation, it's alignment. When you're grateful now, you vibrate with abundance, and abundance recognizes itself. When you smile first, joy has a place to land. When you move in peace, the chaotic world around you begins to organize. But none of this is about pretending. It's about deciding. You're not manipulating the universe. You're meeting it. The frequency you choose becomes the invitation you send. What you embody becomes what you magnetize. The law isn't magic, it's motion. You must be in energetic motion toward what you want. You are a transmitter. A living signal tower. The question is, what are you tuned to? Not just when you're meditating or journaling, but when you're scrolling, when you're working, when you're walking through your life. Your energy isn't a side effect, it's a cause. The dream is already vibrating at its frequency. Your only job is to meet it, tune your station, match its signal, and watch what starts to play. Energy is the signal you send, it determines what you attract. You don't get what you want, you get what you align with. Emotional frequency is the foundation of manifestation. What dominant emotion are you transmitting most of the time, and does it align with what you desire? Choose one desired feeling. Spend 5 minutes today embodying it through music, movement, or stillness. Chapter 3. Thought is the sculptor's tool. A sculptor does not begin with stone alone. They begin with vision. Yet vision is not enough, it must be shaped, defined, refined. The sculptor uses tools. In the architecture of reality, thought is the tool that carves the unseen into form. Every belief, every recurring idea, every mental image, these are not fleeting or passive. They are instruments. And you are using them constantly, whether you realize it or not. If your mind were a chisel, what are you shaping with it? What are your thoughts carving into your experience? Many dream of success but think in terms of scarcity. They wish for love but mentally rehearse abandonment. They hope for health but expect illness. This misalignment creates contradiction, not creation. Your life responds not to what you ask once, but to what you affirm repeatedly through thought. Thoughts are not neutral. They are patterns, and patterns become programs. Think of it like software. If your internal code is written with doubt, no matter how beautiful the dream, it will glitch in the execution. The mind doesn't just receive, it generates. It paints pictures and runs scripts. And the repetition of those scripts builds reality's scaffolding. But thought is malleable. That is your power. You are not at the mercy of your inner voice. You can shape it. Just as a sculptor refines a rough edge or adjusts a contour, you can interrupt a limiting belief and rewrite the line. This isn't denial. It's direction. You are steering the tool instead of letting it strike at random. Awareness is the beginning. Notice what loops play in your mind without invitation. Catch the script. Don't judge it, observe it. Then challenge it. If the thought is, "This will never work," ask, "Is that fact or fear?" Most thoughts that block us are not truths, they are habits. And habits can be broken. Begin crafting intentional thoughts. Not vague affirmations, but statements that feel believable and expansive. Instead of "I am rich," if that feels false, try "I am learning how to build wealth." Instead of "I have the perfect partner," try "I am becoming someone who attracts healthy love." These are not delusions. They are mental blueprints, structured, aligned, and actionable. Remember, thought does not work in isolation. It primes energy. It sets the stage, but it must be married to feeling and followed by action. A sculptor who only imagines never reveals the form, but without the design, the action is chaotic. Thought gives the dream dimension. It draws the lines before the carving begins. There's a sculptor inside you, working even when you sleep. The question is, are you handing them broken tools, or are you giving them precision instruments, intentional, empowering, focused? A shift in thought can change the entire posture of your being, from defeated to determined, from uncertain to activated, from passive to purposeful. Think deliberately, not perfectly, but consistently. You don't need to believe every thought you think, but you do need to choose which ones you'll keep. Every time you repeat a belief, you reinforce the statue, you add depth, shape, and texture. And one day, what was once invisible becomes undeniable. Because you carved it. Because you chose each line. Your thoughts are sculpting something right now. The form is coming. The shape is rising. Choose what it will be. Thoughts are not background noise, they are tools of creation. Repetitive inner dialogue becomes the structure of external experience. You have the power to rewrite, refine, and redirect thought into alignment. What thought patterns are you currently reinforcing, and do they reflect the future you desire? Write down one limiting belief you often repeat. Write it as an empowering, believable statement. Say it aloud 3 times today. Chapter 4. Move before you're ready. On a foggy road at night, headlights don't reveal the whole path. They only light the next few feet. And yet, that's all a driver needs to keep moving forward. The road unfolds not in full view, but step by step. The same is true of dreams. Waiting for total clarity is like waiting for the fog to lift before you drive. By the time it clears, the opportunity may have passed. Action creates clarity. Movement reveals the map. Many stalls at the edge of their desires because they believe readiness is a condition. They wait to feel confident, to have more time, more knowledge, more validation. But readiness is a myth. What we call readiness is often just the illusion of safety. The truth is, most breakthroughs are born in motion, not in planning. The first step feels uncertain. That's how you know it matters. There is power in moving before you're sure, not recklessly, but boldly. When you take action without every answer, you send a message to yourself and to life. You're not a spectator, you're a participant. You're not rehearsing forever. You're stepping into the scene. It's in the doing that you discover who you are and what the dream truly demands. Think of a painter facing a blank canvas. The longer they hesitate, the louder the inner critic becomes. But one brushstroke changes everything. It breaks inertia. Suddenly, the artist is not just someone with an idea, they are someone in the act of creation. The canvas begins to speak back. Feedback appears. Direction clarifies. But it never would have, had the brush stayed still. The same is true for you. You don't need a 10-step plan before you begin. You need a first step, one that lives in the real world, not more thinking, not more refining. A visible, physical move. This is the power of the minimum viable action. A single, irreversible step that marks the beginning. You write one paragraph. You make one call. You launch the page, not the perfect version, just version 1. Every dream has its own landscape. But you won't understand the terrain from the outside. You have to walk it. You have to risk the awkwardness of starting. Confidence doesn't precede the action, it grows because of it. Readiness doesn't knock. It's built through repetition. The only way to get good at anything is to begin while still bad. Too often we confuse preparation with progress. Preparation has its place, but it can become a hiding place. At some point, more research is avoidance. More waiting is fear dressed in logic. The turning point is recognizing that you don't need to feel brave to be brave. Courage is not the absence of doubt, it's moving through it anyway. Once you act, momentum joins you. Doors open, support arrives, insight flows. You are met not in theory, but in practice. The dream feels distant only until you touch it, then it becomes tactile, possible, yours. But it starts with the decision to stop watching and start walking. Your life is not waiting for a better version of you to emerge. It's responding to the one who dares to begin. Movement is the signal. It tells the universe, and your own subconscious, that you're serious, that this is not just a fantasy, it's a formation. The headlights won't show you the destination, but they will show you enough. Take the next step. That's where the path begins. Clarity is often the result of action, not the prerequisite. Readiness is a myth. Movement builds momentum and direction. The smallest real-world action has more impact than perfect intention. Where are you waiting for certainty when a simple step would reveal your next move? Identify one dream you've delayed. Take one physical, visible step toward it today, no matter how small. Chapter 5. Act as if, until it is. An actor preparing for a role doesn't wait until opening night to become the character. They rehearse. They dress the part. They speak the lines. They embody the identity long before the spotlight finds them. It's not make-believe. It's muscle memory. It's training the body and mind to respond as though the performance were already real. This is not pretense, it's preparation. Manifestation works the same way. You must act as if until it is. Many hold dreams in suspension because they believe becoming begins after arrival. But the truth is, you become before you receive. You align before you attract. To act as if doesn't mean pretending. It means stepping into the frequency of your future self and letting it guide your behavior in the present. It's the bridge between thought and thing, between desire and demonstration. Behavior is a declaration. The way you move through your day tells the world what you believe about yourself. If you carry the posture of someone who's still hoping, you delay the arrival. But if you behave like someone who already belongs in the room begins to respond to you differently. You don't wait to feel ready. You behave in alignment with readiness, and readiness becomes real. This is not about grand illusions. It's about micro-integrity. Small, consistent actions that mirror the life you say you want. If your dream is to become a speaker, you record short talks now. If your vision includes entrepreneurship, you build systems now. Even if the scale is small, you don't wait for the role to begin practicing, you practice, and the role expands to meet you. To act as if is to show trust. You are saying, I believe this future is so real, I will prepare for it now. You're not hoping, you're hosting. You're making space in your behavior for the reality you are calling in. You pay attention to the details, the habits, the speech, the decisions. Who would I be if this were already true? Then you start becoming that version, one decision at a time. There's no need to force outcomes or fabricate identity. This is about coherence, bringing your internal state and external behavior into harmony. You don't act rich by spending irresponsibly. You act rich by learning stewardship. You don't act loved by chasing people. You act loved by setting standards and honoring your own heart. You behave like someone who knows what's coming. When you shift your identity through action, the world adjusts. People respond. Opportunities find resonance. The external begins to mirror the internal because you are sending a unified signal. You're not just thinking the dream, you are rehearsing it into reality. This approach dissolves waiting. There is no waiting when you're already becoming. You don't need to explain or justify. You don't need permission. You simply begin living in the frame of the fulfilled version, even if it's quiet, even if no one sees it yet. The embodiment is the evidence. The act is the affirmation. The role you seek isn't out there. It's in you, ready to be worn, ready to be lived. Step into it, even if it feels awkward at first. That's what rehearsal is for. Rehearse your future until it feels like home, until you no longer have to act as if, because now, it simply is. Acting as if is not pretending, it's practicing your future into reality. Behavior aligned with your dream creates coherence and attracts opportunity. Identity shifts through consistent, intentional action. Who would you be if your dream were already real, and what's one way you can behave like them today? Choose one small behavior your future self would do daily. Do it today, no matter how simply. Let it begin. Chapter 6. Design your physical environment. A seed planted in concrete won't grow, no matter how powerful its potential. It needs fertile soil, light, and space. The same is true for dreams. No matter how vivid your vision or aligned your energy, if your physical environment suffocates your momentum, the dream struggles to take root. Your surroundings speak. They either echo your future or trap you in your past. Look around. Every object, every color, every sound in your space is sending signals. Some tell you it's time to rise. Others whisper that you're still who you used to be. Environments are not neutral. They either energize or drain. They either reflect the self you're becoming or reinforce the self you've outgrown. Manifestation in the 3D doesn't end with mindset, it lives in matter. Home is not just where you sleep. It's where your nervous system calibrates. It's where your frequency is rehearsed. A cluttered, chaotic space breeds mental noise. An uninspiring room dulls creative impulse. But a space designed with intention becomes an altar. It becomes a cue to your subconscious that your future is already in motion. You don't need to redesign your life overnight. You need to choose one space and align it. Start with your work area. Is it a place of clarity or confusion? Does it invite focus or distraction? Remove what numbs. Add what activates. A single candle. A quote on the wall. A clean desk. These are not decorations. They are declarations. They say, this is a place where something real is being built. Even how you dress is part of the environment. Clothing is a costume of identity. Are you putting on the version of yourself that leads your dream, or the one still hiding from it? This is not about style. It's about symbolism. When you wear something that reflects your future, you walk differently. You speak differently. The costume becomes a cue. Energy settles where it's welcomed. If your space is filled with reminders of delay, regret, or confusion, your body feels it before your mind registers it. That drawer you keep avoiding. The clothes you no longer wear but won't release. The objects that belong to a version of you that's no longer alive, they all hold weight. Release them. You're not just cleaning. You're clearing a runway. Design your space like a stage for your next act. Make room for what's coming. If you want to be a writer, set up the space where writing happens. If you want to host, prepare a table. If you want peace, make it visible. Let every object have a reason. Let every corner have a rhythm. The more intentional your environment, the less willpower you'll need to maintain momentum. This is about friction. You reduce the resistance between who you are and who you're becoming by arranging your world to support the shift. An aligned space removes excuses. It becomes a mirror that reflects your commitment back to you. You don't need luxury, you need intention. You don't need more space. You need the right energy within it. Your environment shapes behavior. Behavior shapes outcome. The shift begins with a drawer, a desk, a wall, a wardrobe. And from there, the reality reshapes itself around your new declaration. You're not decorating. You're constructing alignment. You're designing a world that holds your dream, not someday, but now. Your environment either reflects your future or repeats your past. Designing your space with intention strengthens alignment and action. Small physical changes can lead to major energetic shifts. What part of your physical environment contradicts the future you're trying to create? Choose one area, desk, closet, or corner, and transform it today to reflect your dream in motion. Chapter 7. Speak it like a builder. Words are not ornaments. They are architecture. Every sentence you speak is a brick laid in the structure of your reality. Just as a builder doesn't toss materials around hoping they form a house, you can't speak carelessly and expect your life to be organized with precision. Manifestation responds to language. Not just the words spoken aloud, but the unspoken ones repeated in thought, tone, and self-dialogue. There's a reason it's called spelling. Words cast meaning, direction, and identity. They define the shape of what's allowed, what's possible, and what's expected. Speak constantly of confusion, and clarity avoids you. Speak often of delay, and movement slows. The vibration of your language is a signal, and the 3D listens closely. This is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing coherence. Your dream carries a frequency, and your words must match it. If you're building a future of purpose and abundance, you can't use the language of lack and limitation. If you're creating love, you can't narrate loneliness on repeat. What you speak, you sculpt. Listen to yourself. Not just in moments of intention, but in the casual, automatic phrases. I'm so broke, nothing ever works for me. I don't know what I'm doing. These may feel harmless, even humorous, but repetition wires belief, and belief shapes behavior. If your mouth constantly contradicts your mind's desires, you're sending mixed signals and receiving fragmented results. To shift, begin with awareness. Become an observer of your own speech. What patterns do you notice? Where do you minimize your power or delay your dream through language? Then, redirect. You don't need to become artificially positive. You need to become precise. Instead of I can't afford that, say I'm choosing to invest elsewhere right now. Instead of I'm overwhelmed, say I'm learning how to manage this season. Words don't just describe reality, they design it. Next, speak your vision aloud, regularly, not as a wish, but as a plan. Not in future tense, but in alignment. I am building something meaningful. I am becoming someone who leads with clarity. These are not affirmations for the mirror. They are orders given to the blueprint. They are instructions to your subconscious and your surroundings. Protect your conversations. Language is contagious. Be mindful of environments where complaining is currency and sarcasm is the shield. Words carry weight, even when spoken lightly. Speak to uplift, to align, to clarify, not to entertain the doubt. You're not here to echo old patterns. You're here to author a new structure. Also, speak to your dream directly. Give it voice. Write to it. Think it. Treat it like a living thing. Because in many ways it is. Every word spoken in its direction gives it form. The dream listens. So does your body. When you say I'm making it real, something within stands taller. The spine aligns. The breath deepens. Identity begins to root. This is how you build with language. Not with fluff, but with focus. Not with exaggeration, but with integrity. Your vocabulary becomes your vector. Your tone becomes your tempo. Speak like a builder. Precise. Purposeful. Certain. Every time you speak, you are either building scaffolding or setting roadblocks. Choose bricks over barriers. Shape your future with the sound of alignment. Say what you mean what you say, and let your words rise like walls around the world you're creating. Words shape reality. Language is the architecture of your dream. Casual speech often sabotages intentional vision. Conscious language choices align thought, energy, and action. What phrases do you repeat that contradict the life you're trying to build? Replace one self-limiting phrase you commonly say with an empowered version. Speak it aloud today. Chapter 8. Do the physical work. In the center of a forge, a blacksmith strikes metal against the anvil. Sparks fly. Heat rises. The hammer doesn't just touch the steel, it transforms it. This is not symbolic work. It is physical, gritty, and loud. And yet, within each blow, purpose is shaped. Manifestation in the 3D requires the same fire. It cannot remain an idea. It must become effort. It must pass through your hands. The dream is not a painting to admire. It is a structure to assemble. Too often, people speak, write, and think about their vision endlessly, but never build it into the fabric of their days. They wait for perfect timing or emotional readiness. But physicality is the final portal. No dream materializes without the discipline of doing. Action is not the opposite of alignment. It is its evidence. You cannot say you're calling in the future while standing still in the present. The universe responds to kinetic energy. When your body participates in the dream, the intangible becomes tangible. Planning has its place. So does praying, but eventually, you must pick up the hammer. This is not about burnout or hustle for the sake of movement. It's about alignment in motion. The right action carries frequency. It feels forward. Even when it's difficult, there will be resistance. That's not a red flag. It's friction, the heat of transformation. You're not supposed to feel comfortable all the time. You're supposed to feel committed. Discipline is not punishment. It's devotion. It is how you prove to yourself, to life, to the invisible forces moving with you, that you are serious. Showing up again and again is an incantation. It says, I am the kind of person who builds what they see. It's not enough to want. You must wield. Think of your dream as a structure that only rises brick by brick. Each day you skip the work is a day the wall remains unfinished. Each hour you pour into the process, even unnoticed, is a layer of strength added to the foundation. The world may not applaud every step, but it always echoes the result. Start where you are. There is always something you can do now. Send the email, package the product, train your body, practice the pitch, organize the files, rehearse the speech, edit the design, make the call. These are not minor tasks. They are sacred actions. They say this dream is alive, and I am moving with it. Let your body become part of the ritual. Create rhythms, not random bursts. Build morning practices, weekly goals, and evening resets. Give the dream a calendar. Give it deadlines, not to stress you, but to honor it. The physical world honors those who show up on schedule. It rewards consistency, not just charisma. Even in moments of doubt, keep working, especially then. Action generates belief. You don't wait until you feel inspired, you move, and inspiration catches up. Confidence is not a gift. It is the harvest of effort. With each task completed, your identity evolves. You begin to believe in your ability to bring things into form. When the first result appears, it won't be grand. It might be a reply, a sale, a yes, a moment of clarity. Don't overlook it. Celebrate it. It means the hammer struck true. You are not a dreamer anymore. You are a builder. And builders make things real. Manifestation requires physical action, not just spiritual alignment. Discipline and consistency signal seriousness to both self and universe. Daily work, even unseen, becomes the structure of your dream. Where are you still thinking about your dream instead of physically building it? Do one concrete task today that supports your dream structure, however small. Make it real. Chapter 9. Detours are part of the map. A GPS doesn't panic when you make a wrong turn. It recalculates. Calmly. Instantly. It doesn't shame you for missing an exit. It adjusts. The path may change, but the destination remains. Detours are not dead ends, they're redirections. The same principle applies to your dream. Missteps are not signs to quit. They are part of the terrain. Movement toward manifestation is rarely linear. There's a myth that alignment guarantees ease. That once you're on the right path, everything flows without friction. But creation requires contrast. Resistance isn't always a signal of misalignment. Sometimes it's the weight that builds strength. The hammer doesn't destroy the metal, it shapes it. Likewise, challenges mold your capacity to hold what you've asked for. Every delay carries data. Every obstacle contains an instruction, but most people treat struggle as failure. They interpret discomfort as a cosmic no. In truth, it's often a test of readiness, not from the universe, but from within. Are you willing to continue when the result is invisible? Are you grounded in the vision, or only in the outcome? The dream you're building will stretch you. It has to. Because what you're asking for exists at a higher version of you. Detours are invitations to evolve. They expose the gaps in preparation, the fragility of belief, and the weaknesses in foundation. This isn't punishment. It's calibration. It's the process aligning you with what you say you want. Think of the detour as sacred. It slows you down to show you something you missed. Maybe a lesson. Maybe a deeper truth. Maybe a version of you that needs healing before it can lead. This is why you must resist the urge to rush through discomfort. What feels like a delay might be the exact timing required for your dream to arrive with integrity. Even when doors close, even when plans fall apart, trust that you are still on the map. The map is dynamic. It doesn't break because you lost your way for a moment. It bends, it expands. The path is allowed to look different what you imagined. You didn't fail, you found a better way, disguised as a wrong one. Remember, progress isn't always visible. A seed underground is still growing. Roots form before branches. Just because you can't see the bloom doesn't mean the process has stalled. In fact, the moments that feel still are often the most active beneath the surface. Detours deepen the roots so that the structure doesn't collapse when it finally rises. This is where many give up. They hit resistance and assume the dream was a fantasy. They abandon it before the soil breaks. But those who persist see what others miss, the reward on the other side of resilience. Manifestation is not a wish, it's a commitment. You keep showing up, even when the path bends into uncertainty. You are not lost, you are learning. And what you gather on the detour becomes part of what you'll use to lead, to build, to teach. Your story is shaped here. Your depth is born here. You become the version of yourself who didn't quit. And that identity becomes the foundation for everything else. Recalculating isn't failure. It's wisdom. It means you're still moving. Still choosing, still aligned, even when the road looks unfamiliar. Trust the map, even when it changes. Detours are not signs of failure. They are part of the alignment process. Resistance can be a tool for growth and preparation. The path to your dream will stretch you into the version of yourself who can hold it. Where have you misread a delay or challenge as a stop sign instead of a recalibration? Revisit one area where you paused due to a setback. Take a single step forward today, even if it's small. Chapter 10. Let go to lock in. A Chinese finger trap tightens with tension. The more you pull, the more trapped you become. But the moment you relax your grip, release begins. Manifestation works in much the same way. When you grip your dream too tightly, when you obsess control or force, it slips further from reach. Letting go is not surrendering the outcome. It's surrendering your need to dominate its delivery. Holding the dream doesn't mean clenching it. It means trusting it. There is a difference between commitment and control. Commitment says, I'll show up every day. Control says, it must happen this exact way. But the 3D world is not your puppet, it is your partner. You co-create with it, not command it, and co-creation requires room to breathe. Letting go is not quitting. It is an act of faith. It says, I've done my part. Now I allow the rest to unfold. It's the farmer planting seeds without digging them up daily to check their progress. It's the artist stepping back from the canvas, knowing the strokes are complete. There's wisdom in the pause, power in the release. Obsession stems from fear. A belief that if you don't control every piece, the dream will vanish. But the truth is, clinging creates resistance. It sends the signal that you don't trust the process or your own readiness. When you relax into trust, you become more receptive, and receptivity is a magnet for manifestation. Consider breath. Inhale too long, and the body panics. Hold your breath, and the system tightens. Only through exhale can you reset the cycle. Your dream needs that same rhythm. Action, then release. Focus, then space. Doing, then being. Letting go creates the energetic gap where the universe can enter, where synchronicity can breathe. This doesn't mean passivity. You still move, you still build. But you don't strangle the timeline. You don't measure your worth against the clock. You don't demand signs as proof. Instead, you move from desire to devotion, from control to collaboration. You trust that the unseen is working in parallel to your seen efforts. The need to control often comes from wounded places, childhood experiences, past failures, broken trust. If you've learned that things fall apart unless you manage everything, letting go feels like danger. But the dream you're building is not the past repeating. It's a new creation. And it requires a new posture, one rooted in trust, not trauma. And to let go is to align. It's to say, I believe this is coming. I don't need to chase it. I prepare, and I welcome. This energy is calm. It's clear. It doesn't panic at the delay. It doesn't grasp at evidence. It doesn't spiral in doubt. It walks with open hands, not clenched fists. Watch how life responds when you stop trying to micromanage miracles. Solutions arrive. Ideas surface. People show up. It's not a coincidence. It's space. You've stepped back just enough for the pieces to fall into place. You've stopped pushing, and now you're pulling, inwardly, magnetically, silently. Letting go isn't the end of the work. It's part of the rhythm. You've hammered, shaped, and carved. Now exhale. Step back. Let the dream come toward you, not because you gave up, but because you finally made room. Letting go is not giving up, it's trusting the process to unfold. Control creates resistance. Surrender invites receptivity. Co-creation requires space, rhythm, and release. Where are you gripping your dream too tightly, and what might shift if you let go with trust? Identify one outcome you've been forcing. Release it today, mentally, emotionally, and verbally. Let it breathe. Chapter 11. The proof appears in 3D. A seed breaks through the soil not with noise but with certainty. It rises without spectacle, no fanfare, no announcement. But it is proof that what was planted in darkness has taken root. Manifestation unfolds in the same quiet, certain way. There comes a moment, not always loud, not always obvious, when the intangible becomes touchable. That is the arrival. That is the shift from vision to verification. This is where the first fruits appear: a sale, a message, a sign. A moment of synchronicity so precise it feels scripted. The dream that once lived only in your heart now leaves evidence in your environment. It shows up in form. It speaks through results. It takes a shape you can point to and say, there, that's it. It's happening. Many miss these signs because they expect explosions. They wait for fireworks, not realizing manifestation often arrives dressed in subtlety. They dismiss early progress because it doesn't yet look like the grand vision. But the first sign of arrival is rarely the final form. It's the whisper, not the roar. It's the shift, not the summit. And if you're not paying attention, you'll mistake arrival for accident. The 3D respects consistency. It honors those who showed up when nothing seemed to work. Those who kept moving without applause. Who kept building when no one watched. The results you begin to see now are echoes of seeds sown in silence. They are proof that the universe is not indifferent, it is responsive. You weren't imagining momentum. You were creating it. Your job is to recognize the proof, not question it. Don't minimize what shows up just because it's small. The first sale matters. The first message matters. The first breakthrough, the first yes, the first quiet confirmation, these are thresholds. Celebrate them. Amplify them. Not out of ego, but out of gratitude. You are witnessing the first visible translation of what you've been carrying within. This is also the moment where many feel disbelief. Is this real? Is it too soon to trust? But you must let yourself feel it. Let yourself stand in the evidence. Embodiment includes celebration. Receiving is part of the process. You've trained for this. You've aligned for this. Now let the proof land in your body. Let it sink in. It's working. There's a temptation to immediately ask, what's next? But stay here for a moment. Let the manifestation teach you. What did it reveal about your resilience? Your rhythm? Your realignment? What worked because you worked it? Before you race forward, integrate the proof. Learn its language. Track how it arrived. Through what door, with what energy, after what release. Understand this, what's arriving now is not random. It is reflective. It mirrors your past alignment, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. They've summoned this. The world didn't change by accident. You changed, and the world mirrored you. That's the principle. That's the pattern, and it will repeat. Don't stop building. Don't slow your frequency, but allow yourself to shift from longing to living, from hoping to having, from imagining to inhabiting. The evidence is here. Maybe just the first layer, but it's real, and real multiplies. What's begun is only the beginning. This is your first glimpse of what's possible, a sign not just that dreams come true, but that you made it happen. Manifestation becomes visible through subtle, tangible signs. Early evidence reflects prior alignment and consistency. Recognition and celebration of progress deepen the process. What early signs have shown up in your life that you may have overlooked or downplayed? Name one visible result of your recent alignment. Write it down. Say thank you. Let it land. Chapter 12. Keep building the real. A cathedral is not built in a day. It rises stone by stone, year by year, often across lifetimes. Each block laid is part of a legacy, not a moment. Manifestation works this way too. It is not a finish line. It is a rhythm, a lifestyle, a commitment to keep building, even after the proof appears, especially after the proof appears. Many think the arrival of evidence means the work is done. But the dream was never just about a single result. It was about becoming someone who creates on purpose, continuously. Someone who doesn't stop once they taste success, but uses that taste to fuel the next act. You're not just chasing a result. You're stepping into an identity, one who manifests consistently, not occasionally. The momentum you've built must be sustained, not through force, but through pattern. Repetition doesn't reduce magic, it reinforces it. The same practices that got you here will take you further. Stay in alignment. Stay in motion. Stay in trust. The dream doesn't ask for perfection, it asks for persistence. Every time you act in harmony with your vision, you strengthen the structure. Every aligned decision adds a beam. Every quiet choice to continue adds scaffolding. This is how realities are maintained, not through bursts of brilliance, but through the discipline of devotion. You keep showing up, not because you need to prove something, but because this is who you are now. Sustainability is the final step. Anyone can manifest once. But to build a life that continually reflects your vision, you must learn to stabilize the frequency. This means tending to your energy, guarding your space, honoring your rituals, saying no to what no longer fits. Growth is not only expansion, it is maintenance. What you've made real must be protected, nurtured, and occasionally rebuilt. Keep your systems simple but sacred. Return to your roots, clarity, emotion, action, release. When things feel off, trace the rhythm. Where have you stopped listening? Where have you disconnected? The dream doesn't abandon you, but it does require your presence. Re-engage. Realign. Rebuild where needed. Understand that creation doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. The work is internal. The next version of your dream may begin as a whisper again. Listen for it. Just because you've built one thing doesn't mean your blueprint is complete. The builder in you is still active, still listening, still called. Let joy be your compass now, not survival, not pressure. Creation, once mastered, becomes a form of play. You test ideas, you expand structures, you evolve the dream as you evolve. You're no longer proving it can work. You're exploring what else is possible. You've crossed the threshold from hoping to embodying. And you're not done. This book may close, but your building continues, brick by brick. Thought by thought, gesture by gesture. Your reality responds to who you are becoming, not who you were. Let this be your legacy, not a moment of manifestation, but a life lived in constant creation. You didn't just visualize, you materialized. You didn't just believe, you built. The dream was never outside you. It was in your hands all along. Keep building. Manifestation is not a moment, it is a maintained rhythm of creation. Sustaining success requires structure, energy, and devotion. You're no longer becoming a builder, you are one. What daily pattern or ritual will help you remain aligned with your creative identity? Establish one consistent practice that affirms your identity as a builder. Begin it today, and let it continue. Take care and be well.